Hey there, K-Ball here from ZenDev, where I help developers and teams level up their front-end skills. This is your Friday front-end inspiration, where I talk about something that got me super pumped in the front-end world this week. So my inspiration this week is related to the maturation of the ecosystems around these advanced JavaScript frameworks. So frameworks like Vue, React, and Angular, a couple years ago, they were hot, they were cutting edge, they were changing really fast. Now they're starting to consolidate and slow down, and the extremely rapid innovation has moved into a new area, which is in the ecosystems around it. The article that really highlighted this for me today was an article about a new universal JavaScript framework that Uber just published, letting you build React-based applications with lots of different layers of services built in that are universal JavaScript, which means they render out on the server, but then they hydrate a client-side single-page app once they get there, which is increasingly the cutting edge for high-end applications, as you want to do universal JavaScript everywhere. And what this is reminding me a lot of is the maturation that happened in server-side frameworks like Ruby on Rails and Django and things like that a few years back, 5-10 years ago. In that time, as those frameworks evolved, you went from having to really put together all the pieces of your application yourself and figure out lots and lots of things to really having a pluggable framework in which you could put in all the different levels of services that you wanted. And so you could really focus on the custom pieces of your applications, but common things like authentication and mailing and role-based access control and all these different layers, you could just kind of plug things in and they would just work. And you could, testing matured a lot at that time, all sorts of other good stuff. We're starting to see the exact same thing happening in advanced front-end frameworks. We're starting to see all those different layers. They're different things now, but you've got code splitting, you do have testing and things like that. You've got all sorts of different logging stuff. That ecosystem is starting to mature. And this gets me really excited about the future of the front end because we've been seeing this explosion in complexity in the front end, but the tooling hasn't caught up yet. And that's made it very challenging for developers like you and I to keep up. How do we do all these things? How do we follow 10 million best practices and get all this stuff to happen? How do we pick which tools where and pull them in? What's going to be right? But as this ecosystem is maturing and we're starting to see the tooling around it mature, I think we're going to get much better built-in support for all these things that people are talking about and we know we need to do, but it's hard to handle all of them. So we'll be able to get much better code splitting out of the box, accessibility features out of the box, logging out of the box, all these different pieces that make a modern JavaScript architecture that right now you need a massive team. The big companies are doing it, but small guys, independent developers or small teams have trouble keeping up with all the pieces. That ecosystem is starting to come together. And so in the future, not very far off, we're seeing it happen now. All these best practices that have been evolving are going to be plug and play. And we get them in and we can focus on our craft of building really, really cool stuff and not on all the nuts and bolts of how do we tie all these things together. That stuff will just be there. So I'm super excited about this. As you can tell, you can find the link to the new framework article right down below. Also, you can find a link to this week's Friday Front-End newsletter. This video goes out as a part of that, and a link to subscribe to the newsletter if you want to do that. If you prefer YouTube, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel right up here. And one quick note, I'm going to miss next week. There will be no video or newsletter next week because I am going to be traveling, and I'm going to be in Costa Rica. Super excited about that, but I won't be able to publish this next week. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Till then, take care. This is K-Ball signing out.